ES Audio.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Travers, and this is the Evening Standard's Tech and Science Daily. Coming up, a potentially huge medical advance for transplants. Now, let's get into it. NASA says the samples from a 4.5 billion-year-old asteroid could be key to revealing secrets of building blocks of life.
Carbon is essential for all life on Earth. We are all carbon-based. And one of the reasons we want to look for this material in these samples is to understand whether asteroids like Bennu could have not only delivered the water that led to our oceans, but actually seed the Earth with prebiotic chemicals, right? The building blocks of life.
That's Daniel Glavin, OSIRIS-REx sample analyst lead at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. In a press conference on Wednesday, the US Space Agency showcased what early tests of materials collected from the Bennu asteroid have revealed so far. And there was already clear evidence in the samples of high carbon content and water.
The first carbon measurement was made at the Carnegie Institution for Science. The actual number is 4.7%, close to 5%. And this was a big deal. At the time this data came back, I mean, there were scientists on the team going, wow, oh my God. And when they say that, scientists says that, wow, that's a big deal.
The findings come after a capsule containing an estimated 250 grams of rocks and dust collected from Bennu touched down in the Utah desert on the 24th of September.
So we were excited right away. In fact, Carnegie said this for the extraterrestrial samples they've analyzed, this is the highest abundance of carbon they've ever measured in any extraterrestrial sample. And they've analyzed close to 250 meteorites. So this is a unique sample that we're dealing with.
Clips there, all courtesy of NASA. In other space-related news, NASA and SpaceX have delayed the launch of the Psyche mission due to bad weather conditions. The mission is a journey to a unique metal-rich asteroid orbiting the Sun between Mars and Jupiter. The launch was due to take place today, Thursday the 12th of October, but has been postponed until at least Friday the 13th of October. Now, if all goes to plan, then the launch will happen from Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center in Florida tomorrow at 10:19 a.m. East Coast US time, which is 3:19 p.m. UK time. A monkey has survived for over 2 years with a pig kidney transplant in what's being called a major medical advancement. Scientists led by experts from biotechnology company eGenesis and Harvard Medical School in the US transplanted kidneys from genetically modified Yucatan miniature pigs into macaque monkeys. The scientists made 69 genetic modifications to help prevent rejection of the transplanted organ and to help prolong survival. The results offer hope for the potential of long-term use of pig organs in humans. There's been a potentially life-changing breakthrough for amputees. Researchers have built technology that allows prosthetic limbs to connect to the nervous system via electrodes. A team led by Professor Max Ortiz-Catalan, head of neural prosthetics research at the Bionic Institute in Australia, and founder of the Centre for Bionics and Pain Research in Sweden, implanted the tech in a Swedish woman who lost her right arm in a farming accident almost 2 decades ago. The hope is that this breakthrough will improve the quality of life of those with limb loss by making prostheses more comfortable and reliable. Now, it's one of the most iconic structures in London, but for the first time in decades, engineers will be removing and replacing Tower Bridge's 2-metre-long nose bolts, which lock the 2 bridge decks together when it's closed.
They're being replaced because of the wear and tear on the bridge, particularly from the traffic loadings, and it's been probably at least 50 years since these were replaced. The critical thing for doing these is to ensure the life of the bridge and its ability to continue to operate.
That's Paul Monaghan, Assistant Director of Engineering at the City of London City Bridges Foundation, who are carrying out the work. He's been explaining why it's not exactly a straightforward process.
It's not simple. They're great big lumps of steel that they need to be man-handled into position, because with the bridge up in 2 different positions, we can't put any significant plant or operations on there.
Overnight closures of Tower Bridge are taking place all this week from 10 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. It will also be shut all weekend for further works. Let's go to the ads. Coming up, how a social media post by an amateur astronomer led to an impressive discovery, and female frogs' extreme methods to avoid unwanted suitors. Why not hit rate and follow in the meantime? Welcome back. A study suggests that people with early Alzheimer's disease have difficulty turning when walking. Experts from University College London use virtual reality to help examine navigational errors among people with the first signs of the disease, with the hope of developing simple tests for the condition. The research found that people with early Alzheimer's consistently overestimated turns on a test route and had a greater variability in their sense of direction. The evidence supports existing studies that suggest problems with navigation is an important early sign of the disease. A social media post by an amateur astronomer has led to the discovery of the first ever afterglow of a huge planetary collision. The explosive crash between two giant planets happened in a distant space system 1,800 light-years away from Earth. An international team of astronomers was formed after the enthusiast viewed the light curve of the star and noticed something strange. It showed the system doubled in brightness at infrared wavelengths, some 3 years before the star started to fade in visible light. The paper is published in the journal Nature. And finally, now how far would you go to avoid someone you don't like? Because apparently female frogs take things to the extreme. Scientists have found that female frogs sometimes go as far as faking their own deaths to avoid unwanted male attention. Researchers assessed mate avoidance behaviour in the European common frog and found that females use a number of methods, including special calls, grunting, rolling, and even faking death to get rid of unwanted males. Scientists found that nearly half of the females mounted by a male successfully escaped using these strategies. If you're up to date, come back at 4 p.m. for the Leader podcast from the Evening Standard. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. See you then.